Hey guys, let's go through your Saxon 116. So the first one says draw a 49 millimeter line segment. And we talked about how millimeters are the teeny tiny hash marks on the centimeter side of our ruler. And that inside of each centimeter there are 10 millimeters. So 49 millimeters would be 4 centimeters, because in each centimeter there are 10 millimeters, and 9 individual millimeters. So if you'll look here, this was my 4 centimeters worth, or my 40 millimeters, and then I added not quite another centimeter, but 9 individual millimeters. Number 2, we're finding the difference between Janice's weight last year and the weight she is now. And that's finding a difference. That's finding the leftovers in between the two weights. And once you do that subtraction, and you do have to do some regrouping, it ends up that she's had a gain or a difference in weight of 7 pounds. On number 2, they've given us the birth years of each person, so I wrote that underneath. And then to find out what age they'll be on this year's birthday, we're going to find the difference between this year, which is 2020, and their birth year. And the leftovers in between will be how many years have elapsed in their life. So Althea ends up being 23, Terrell ends up being 42, and Skyla ends up being 37. On number 3, just recall that a fraction bar also means division, and that what we're doing is we're taking 8 of something and splitting it into 2 pieces, which is the same as dividing 8 by 2, which would be 4. On this one, we're taking 9 of something and dividing it into thirds, and thirds means 3 pieces, so we're taking 9 and dividing it by 3. On this one, we're taking 4 and putting it into 4 pieces, or 4 divided by 4 is 1. On number 4, to find out the appropriate unit of measure, well, a pound is about a football, which is much heavier than a paper clip. We measure things like an elephant or a car, something very large, in tons. And a kilogram is about like a water bottle. So a gram is about the weight of a Hershey Kiss or a paper clip. So 1 gram would be the most appropriate unit of measure. On number 5, we have a mixed number, 1 3/4. So to represent that in the model, when we're talking about how much poster board he used 1 whole poster board and then 3 quarter-size pieces of another one. So the leftovers that were not used is 1 whole and 1 quarter-size piece. On number 6, we're doing our up and over boogie, and then we're circling our carry, which is what we would add in. So 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12, plus that 2 floating there is 14, 140. 7 times 8 is 56. 6 went down, 5 went up. 7 times 6 is 42, plus that floating 5 is 47, 47. 7 times 1 is 7, plus that 4 is 11, 1,176. On this one, 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 2 is 6, add that 2 and we get 8. 3 times 6 is 18, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus that 1 is 7, 7,887. On number 1, they've given us Jane's weight from last year and this year, and they want to know how much she gained. So we're going to find the difference between what she weighs now and what she did weigh, and the leftovers in between there will be her weight gain. So I put that out to the side because you do have to do regrouping, and it ends up being a gain or a difference of 9 pounds. On number 2, they have given us the birth year for Peter and Nils, and they want to know how old they'll be on this year's birthday. So we're going to find the difference between this year and their birth year. So this year is 2020 minus their birth year. And when you do that subtraction, Peter ends up being 35 and Nils 55. and it said to circle the name of the younger person, so Peter is younger. On number 3, we remember that a fraction is like division. So we're taking 10 of something and putting it in groups of 2, or splitting it in half. So if you'll look, I have 10 dots and I've grouped them off by 2's, and it's made 5 groups. On this one, we're taking 6 and cutting it into thirds, which means 3 pieces. So I have 6 dots. I've grouped them off in sets of 3, and I've made 2 groups because division is grouping. Here I'm taking 12 of something and dividing it into fourths, or sets of 4. And when I group them off by sets of 4, I make 3 groups. On number 4, a real-world example of a gram is like a paper clip or a Hershey Kiss. A football weighs about a pound. Ton is 2,000 pounds, like we would measure an elephant or something very large, and a kilogram is like a water bottle or a football. So to measure a pickup truck's weight, the most appropriate unit of measure would be like 2 tons. That would be 4,000 pounds. On number 5, they tell us that Cheryl used 2 whole pieces of poster board and a third size piece. So here's 1 whole, 2 wholes, and then a 1/3 size piece that she used. So how much is left? 2 third size pieces are left, so 2/3. On number 6, we do our up and over. 8 times 2 is 16, so we carried a 1. 8 times 6 is 48, plus that 1 is 49, 496. 3 times 5 is 15, so we carried a 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus that 1 is 7. 3 times 7 is 21, 2,175. On this one, 7 times 3 is 21, so we carried a 2. 7 times 9 is 63, plus that 2 is 65, so we carried a 6. 7 times 2 is 14, plus that 6 gets us to 20, so we carried a 2. 7 times 1 is 7, plus that 2 is 9. 9,051.